Hello and welcome back to All the Mods 10 to the Sky. This is episode 6. Last time we got our lava power set up. We ended up setting up, let me see, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 of these blazing magmators, which each give us 800 FE per tick. So that's about 9,000 FE to work with per tick at the moment. Today I want to try to expand our sieving setup. We might even just do like upgrades for now, and then also add sand so that we can go ahead and start getting more of the Certus quartz. I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like we just get Certus quartz from sieving. From sieving sand. So that's what we're gonna focus on because I really do want to get that kind of set up and going as quick as we can here. With that being said, now that we have more power, our first step, is going to be expanding this. So I think what I want to do, is maybe set up like a specific area for this sieving here. I think I might make another island over here since we're not really using this space yet. The other option is I could go down here and start expanding out like one of these directions. How do we want to do this? I think I'm going to make another area over here. Yeah, and I also would like to have a more centralized like storage. So maybe I'll end up making like an island for that over here. This area up here is getting kind of crowded and a little too janky, even for my liking. So yeah, I think that is what we'll do. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of, I think, get some of this stuff organized. And now that we have a little bit more power to work with, that'll give me some flexibility when it comes to what we can do and how we can set up our machines. We don't have to have everything running all in one little area. So I will be right back whenever I have finished organizing things a little bit. All right, well, that took a little bit longer than I had expected, but I think we made some good progress here. What I did was I set up another drawer system similar to what we had set up over here whenever we were manually sieving. This is going to be our storage system. We will combine it with applied Energistics here pretty soon. And that's why I left this area here blank, so we can put like our drives, some of our terminals, etc. here. But yeah, this will be our storage system going forward. We'll be using drawers. I have upgrades on some of these to increase the capacity, and we will expand it as we need, but this will get us through probably a decent chunk of this early to mid game. Especially as we do combine it with applied Energistics. And then the other thing that I did was I built a second level down here. This is where we're going to be doing some of our ore processing specifically for the sieving, as well as we'll maybe set up like automation with applied Energistics down here. We'll see kind of how things develop. For now, the only other thing that I had wanted to do was get that put away. One thing I did notice while I was building this actually was that all of my islands previously had been one block short of what they were supposed to be. I haven't fixed this area down here yet, but the farming island, this island, and our new island, I did add that one extra block. Hopefully that hadn't been bothering y'all too much, but it was bothering me whenever I noticed it, so I had fixed that. Okay, but now that we have some of that space down there, I think what we're going to do is we're going to grab these. Did I ever put a void upgrade in here? I think I meant to and then didn't. You know what I can do? I can walk all the way over here. And we can just toss that in there. And while we're here, let's get gravel in here as well. We'll get dust. See if we have any sand and dirt. Oh, clay is a good one to get put up. What I can do is just go ahead and grab a piece of that gravel and then hammer it. I'm just trying to fill out these drawers so that whenever we start using them, the stuff that we want will already be down here. Clay can just go over here. That's fine. And the reason I'm using these compacting drawers is because whenever we eventually connect our applied Energistics system, we can just pull out specifically like any of the resources that we need in any of the forms. We don't have to worry about like crafting them back and forth and whatnot. So that's why I'm doing that like that. Oh, the other thing I did make was I made a magnet, just to be able to like pick up items from a distance, not have to worry about having stuff fall into the void or anything like that. Okay, now that we've got this, I did also want to set up a like wireless power transfer so that we can do that, which we will be using Flux networks for. And the thing with that is that we need a decent amount of these Eyes of Enders, and we also need this flux dust, which isn't too difficult by any means, but yeah, we will need redstone and Eyes of Ender before we can really get into that. So I think we might just run a cable over for now. That'll be our solution here. Okay, so how do I want to do this? I think what I can do is just go ahead and set up some chests right here. And these will be our output chests for our sieves. And then similar to how we had it set up over there, we're just going to do this like stacked approach. Am I missing a... This will be dust, right? This is, or is it gravel into cobblestone into gravel? Yeah, we will need 3. Cobblestone into gravel, gravel into sand, sand into dust. Oh, okay, now I'm not missing one. I was doing dust and gravel. I do remember that now. What do we need for these? Flux, hammer. I think it's just like glass. Okay, hopper, diamond hammer. Okay. Just want to get some of these crafted up real quick. Need some diamonds. We'll need some sticks. And we'll also probably, until we get applied Energistics set up, just keep a crafting table in the floor over here is usually how I do it. What else do we need for this? Is that it? Glass, right. Let's run back over here. I think we have some glass left over, yep. Also some hoppers that we've already made. Make sure and grab those. Okay, so how many of these do we need? We need 2 more of the flux hammers. And then we'll need 1 more of the sieve. Sieve? I'm not honestly sure what the proper pronunciation is, but I'm sure you guys will forgive me, hopefully. I mean, if that's a breaking point for you, then truly, I do apologize. Alright, let's grab this. Does it really have to be matching wood? I guess it probably does. Okay. And then we needed iron bars. And another hopper. I think we're going to be a little short on our iron. So we'll run back over here real quick. Go ahead and grab that. And just like that, that will be our last sieve. We will need our hammer to configure the outputs here. In fact, I'll need to do something like this to make sure that we get these configured properly. Targeting. It's kind of hard to tell what's what here. Did that update? Looks like that's pointing down now. Alright, so we'll make sure these are also pointing down. Grab this hammer here. Make sure this points down as well. And then we will do the same thing over here. Oops. And make sure this is pointing down into there. Should I build this one forward so I can put the cables behind it? You know what? It's fine for now. Alright, let's grab this. We'll head back up here. What do we have? We had pipes over here. And our energy cables. Okay, so this we can go ahead and do, I think, is grab that. And I could probably do this not jankily. Where would the fun be in that, right? So we're going to take this cable and then bring it across. As well as the power here. And I guess I should have done just a little bit better, but oh well. Alright, and the cobblestone that will be going into the tops of these. How do we want to do this? We'll just have this run like this, maybe? Now these should be getting cobblestone. Yeah, there they go. Cool. And we just want it going in on the top, though to be honest, it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, let's mine this. And it does look a little weird, but it is working. And I think now that we have more power, I want to upgrade all of these to diamond, and we can just do 3, 6, 9. Okay, so 3, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we might need some more of those gold upgrades. But we can get these going. Diamond in there. Diamond, diamond. Then we can go diamond, diamond, diamond. Diamond in there. And then I'm gonna go sleep so this rain will stop. And then we're gonna grab some more of this terracotta. We'll probably need to dye a little bit more. How much cactus? We had a decent amount left. Do we actually have any leftover dye? I should probably check. Oh yeah, we have a whole bunch. Okay, and then what were these upgrades? What mod was this? At X upgrade. Okay, so it's just a gold ingot, glass, and then green dye. So we'll smelt up that cactus real fast. And then it was just gold ingot. So we'll run back over here. And grab the gold. Okay, so we needed, I think, 3 more. If I'm not mistaken. 1, oops, 2, 3, and we will need 1 more of those sieve meshes. Which I think we have a somewhat upgraded one in here. Yeah, up to iron. So let's see if we can get that up to diamond. Cool. We'll grab this, bring this over here. Alright, and these are all getting filled with resources. Perfect. And now what we want to do is just go ahead, grab ourselves a controller access point. And actually, you know what? I should probably move that stuff down here. So let me go ahead and do that. Right, I don't have a I keep forgetting. I want to make a backpack. Oh well. Our magnet will just bring it along with us for now. Like that, being able to place the drawers like this is something that kind of bugs me. Just like makes it a little bit more annoying to have to deal with, in my opinion. Okay, now that we've got this, grab our storage controller. Go ahead and toss that there. I'm actually going to grab, excuse me. these as well. And then we can put our regular drawers across the top here. Okay, not the prettiest, but should get the job done for us. So now what we do is we just go ahead and take our item pipes, toss them down here. We will grab our configuration and linking tools, select this here. We do need to put the upgrade back in. Make sure it's on add, multiple. Go ahead and add all these here. Oh, there. Oops. Add all those. Add these. All right, now all those are in there. Let's grab our wrench. Set all these to start pulling. And we'll toss upgrades in here as well. And I will need one more upgrade. Don't think I have any. So we'll have to craft one, right? Yeah. Alright, and then we can just go ahead and dump all those items into there. Okay, and to make one of those pipe upgrades, just iron, redstone, redstone, gold. So redstone, iron nuggets, gold, and iron ingots as well. Perfect. And we'll toss that in there. Alright, and now this should work its way through. Looks like we're missing a couple of these in our drawers here. And we will just keep an eye on this as we go. Make sure that this stuff is staying full. Or I guess isn't getting full. That's what I should have said. Alright, and now we have a much more efficient system. And, I mean, I think we could even... Let's see, if we upgraded all of these to have 2 of these diamond upgrades, right? The big thing is we need more glass, which shouldn't be too big of a thing to take care of real quick. Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to think. But the other thing then is the amount of power that we're generating. The limiting factor for me, the reason I didn't make more of those lava generators, was because we were running out of blaze powder, which is what I was using to make the blazing crystals, which is what you need to upgrade to the blazing tier. Now that we've increased our power production as well as our power usage, I mean, if each one of these is making 800, right? That would be pulling, let's just say 10,000 to be safe. So we would need, I mean, 10 would be 8,000, right? And we currently have 10, 11. So if we make a couple more of these blazing magmators, then we could have 2 of those diamond upgrades in each of those, and that would be getting us essentially like 32 per operation. Like 32, gravel. Essentially 32 whatever sieved per operation. But it would be costing us, yeah, a decent amount more power. But I do kind of think that it would be worthwhile for us to do that. So we will see. I did think that there was, I thought there was a like a netherite tier, but I guess there's not, at least in this version. All right. With that being said, how much blaze powder? We have a decent amount here. I think what I'm gonna do is grind out a couple more of those magmators real quick, off camera, and then I will be back after I've finished that. All right, and with that, I just finished. We now have 15 of these blazing magmators. 15 times 800 is 12,000. So 12,000 FE per tick. Over there, 10,000 is a little generous. So we should have plenty of power to be able to run all of those with our double upgrades. I'm going to go ahead and clear out my inventory real quick. And then just going to dump some of this stuff. We do need to make a couple more of these upgrades. We're going to need more of this cactus, which we should be getting plenty of now, since we are sieving sand. So I'm going to go ahead and smelt that, turn that into dye. Make one more set of this cyan terracotta dye. We'll grab our glass. Doesn't really have anything I want too bad. Grab some gold. And grab some diamonds. Alright, and we need how many of these? We need 3 times 9, 27. Apparently, this is a math lesson, as well as Minecraft. Yeah, as well as Skyblock or whatever. Alright. All these should have 2 diamond. Yep. Alright, and there we go. Now all of these should be going through 32 at a time. Awesome. You know what we might even do also is real quick. I'm pretty sure these would be able to keep up, but because we have the resources, right? We might as well just upgrade them to the next tier. I think that makes sense. Perfect. Alright, and we should be generating plenty of resources now. The next step then is going to be starting to import these resources up there into our system, as well as getting these ores automatically processed. But I think this was a big achievement for us, and we're getting a whole bunch of the quartz that we need for applied energistics, which is a big thing. I really do want to get that set up. It looks like we've got about 30 minutes or so. So maybe that will be my next priority here, is getting started with applied energistics. For anyone who's unfamiliar, applied energistics is a storage mod, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff, I guess you could say. But the main thing is that it allows you to store items, as well as do like auto crafting, for both machines and like regular like crafting table recipes. It allows you to, yeah, automate that, and it gives you more options for storage. You can store items instead of in chests or in drawers in, I believe they're called item cells. And you can store like basically a whole bunch of items all within a cell, and then you can put those cells in disk drives, which just take up one block. So you can store like a huge amount of items in a small space. So let's go ahead and look at the Applied Energistics 2 questline. To begin with, what we're going to need is some chargers and some inscribers, as well as a whole bunch of quartz. And the way we get press is... Oh, is just, is from, okay, these other things. I see, okay. That's not bad. In an inscriber. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with that. Ooh, although getting wireless power set up would be pretty nice. In order to do that, we're gonna need to make more, let me just do this real quick. Let's see, we need a flux controller, we need a flux point, and a flux plug. And to do that, we're going to need just a bunch of ender pearls. Ender pearls come from sieving crushed endstone. We get endstone from glowstone dust and lava. We have a whole bunch of lava. I'm going to grab... I should have a stone barrel in here. And we can just do this up here. It's fine. And then we'll grab some glowstone dust. And I will be right back. Alright, we got our crushed endstone. I just used up most of the lava that was in these barrels here. And then I took the endstone, hammered it, turned it into its crushed variant, and now we can just go ahead and sieve this. This will get us some ender pearls. And just the straight eyes of ender, which is nice. Okay, so let's grab these out of here. The other thing that we're going to need is some obsidian. As well as a pretty significant amount of redstone. Looks like 4 stacks is what we have at the moment. So if I remember correctly, if we look here at this flux dust, yeah, we can do obsidian. Like a building block. Was it both needed to be compressed or just one? Okay. And then if we go ahead and toss our redstone onto there and click that, boom, we got flux dust. Awesome. Wow, compressed obsidian takes a while to mine, huh? Alright, now that we've got our flux dust, redstone, and all this, make some of these flux cores. We're going to need a decent amount. Is it? Okay, I'm getting awesome stuff from here. I haven't collected any of these quest rewards in a while. Okay, so the first thing that we need is a flux controller. This flux controller is what will allow us to make our network. So what we're going to do is create a new network. We'll just call it DevCon MC's network. I'll make it purple. I like purple. It's a cool color. We do want to have wireless charging for our inventory. I usually don't like charging inventory or even hotbar necessarily. I usually just do like hand and main hand, but we can do hotbar just in case we have like tools and stuff there. So now that we've made a network, there is like a lot of tabs here, and I'm sure this might seem a little overwhelming. But now that we have our network, that's all that we really need this for after we set up the wireless charging. And what we need to do is we need the other two things that this adds, which are flux plugs and flux points. The flux point will let you pull energy wirelessly, and the flux plug is what you attach to your like energy generation. So for instance, if we come over here, and instead of having this kind of janky cable across, if we just take a flux plug and toss this right here and select our network. Oops, push my magnets on, don't want to lose that. Can I do this without falling and dying? Okay, so these are no longer connected, but what we can do is take our flux point, select our network, and now this is supplying this with power from that flux plug. And we don't have to like run the cables everywhere that we need power, which will be very useful in a lot of circumstances. All right, and also the network will like wirelessly charge your inventory. Like for instance, I made this exchanging gadget earlier. That lets me like swap out blocks without having to break and replace them. If I put that in my hotbar, because of that flux plug over there, it just wirelessly charged, which is pretty cool. So now we don't really have to worry about charging our gadgets anymore, and we can also have wireless power. We don't have to like run cables between our power generation, so we can, you know, build stuff kind of wherever we want, which makes things a lot easier in a lot of circumstances. So actually, while I'm doing that, I want to upgrade this stuff over here as well. And I'm actually going to make another flux point real quick. And that'll just help us keep all this up here running. Let's grab these. We can toss these. How do we want to do this? Yeah, you can put them up for now. That's fine. Well, this stuff will all be probably moved eventually. Over here, you know, we'll figure it out. Okay, now that we've done that, we can go ahead and get started with applied Energistics. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to make another one of these flux points. As you can tell, you end up using a lot of these flux points. I kind of want to clear up my inventory a little bit here. And eventually I will like figure out the storage. In fact, that's kind of what we're doing right now. Okay, so we needed inscribers. And then we also needed chargers, which is basically just iron and copper. Also some pistons, but yeah. So we'll grab that. Grab some iron, grab some copper, grab some redstone. Okay, that'll make us a charger. And then we'll need these pistons for the inscribers. And actually, we're going to make a whole bunch of these inscribers. We'll come down here, we'll grab our universal cable. I realized that I had just put that flux point all the way over in those chests over there. Which, you know, probably not where I really want it. Okay. Alright, and this will just be kind of like a temporary way of getting us some of the resources that we need. Let's make a couple more of these chargers. Although it is actually not too big of a deal because we do have the charged Certus quartz coming just straight from Sieving, which is pretty nice. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to need a decent amount of is silicon, specifically the applied Energistics silicon, which we're going to do this quartz blend. It's going to be probably our way of getting that. And actually, right, we do get quartz dust from Sieving, which simplifies this this process for us a little bit here. Did we run out of storage space? Let's go ahead and toss a gold upgrade here. Yeah, we will have to start upgrading this eventually, and it's kind of one of those things where I'm really just letting it fill up at the moment, because the resources that we need to make these upgrades are the things that we're getting from this. So as we expand our storage capacity here, then we'll get more resources, or like as we run into issues with the storage capacity, that'll be the resources that we need to craft more of those. So I will be keeping an eye on that, and dealing with that more as we go. Okay, right, so Certus quartz dust, we do need sand as well. So let's grab, how do I want to do this? Grab a stack of this compressed cobblestone. Go ahead and get this hammered. And then do the same to the compressed gravel. Alright, and then I think the other thing we needed was some coal. So we'll grab that. And then we'll make this quartz blend. And basically, normally if you just straight smelt this Certus quartz, you get 1. But if you do this quartz blend, you get 6 quartz blend per Certus quartz dust. And then each of those gets turned into 4 silicate. So it is a much more efficient recipe. And it enables you to get a whole bunch of the silicon here. Looks like we actually might need to upgrade these pipes down here. So while we wait on that to smelt, let's go ahead and grab some of this. Do that pipe. Upgrade. We need what? I think 3. Go ahead and toss those in there, and that should be good enough to keep up with the output. Cool, and that'll get us a whole bunch of silicon, which is going to be very important for our crafting recipes for applied Energistics. Okay, so I'm actually going to clear out some of this stuff from my inventory. Let me toss this back in here. We need to make these inscriber presses. We need the silicon press. We need the engineering press. We need the logic press. And the calculation press. Where's the logic press? Okay, and that's going to be an iron plate. Oh, an iron plate and silicon, an iron plate and a diamond, iron plate, quartz, iron plate and gold. Okay, that's not too bad. I think we can just craft, if I'm not mistaken, those plates. We'll need 4 of them. What was it? It was a diamond. It was gold. It was quartz. And then what was the other piece here? Skystone dust. That will come from sieving. Alright, so iron plate and silicon. That'll get us our silicon press. We'll do these other ones, be a little efficient about it. That'll be our engineering. This will be our logic, and this will be our calculation press. Awesome. Okay. The next thing it looks like it wants us to make is going to be processors, which we're going to need basically a whole bunch of silicon. So the way it works is you have your silicon, you make printed silicon by taking this up here, having this get turned into our printed silicon. And then this acts as a base material for all of these other presses. So for instance, we can grab, let's see, we'll need quartz, we'll need diamonds, and we'll need gold. So our calculation is going to be our Certus quartz, our logic is going to be our gold, and our engineering is going to be our diamond. And then what you do is you take the printed circuits of each of these. We'll also need some redstone. But what you do is you take this redstone, you combine it with printed and the silicon, and then that will make us kind of our more advanced components. And I think right now what we want to do is try to focus on making some of these calculation processors, because we can use these to make advanced cards, which can then be used to make acceleration cards. And that will make like all of this go faster. It does look like in order to do that, something else that we're going to need is fluix crystals, which we get by taking nether quartz, redstone dust, and Certus quartz, and submerging it in water. I want to see if we have any more, excuse me, mycelium spores, because what I want to do is make some more soul sand, so that we can get some more nether quartz, because we will need more. And I know it probably, or at least I think it doesn't matter. Let me make some more stone real quick. But I just want to use a stone barrel. I think they look nicer for making our witch water here. Right, and our dirt is now over here. And eventually, whenever we set up Applied Energistics, we'll be able to access like all of this stuff wirelessly and whatnot. So, yeah, we have that to look forward to. So we'll toss our mycelium on there. Grab our fluid tank. Put a bucket of water in there. This will turn into witch water. And actually, I think the mycelium spreads, right? And like will grow us mushrooms. Which of course, you know, we'll have other ways of getting eventually, but... Oh, we're waiting. I think whenever this is a barrel of witch water, it'll make stuff like grow around it. Yeah. That's kind of cool. Alright. Now that that has been turned, we're going to need some more of this sand. Okay, we want to compress this as much as we can. In fact, I want to see if I can make a 3x. So we'll get a little bit more. We'll do one more. One more. And whatever sand is left over, I mean, it'll be useful for other stuff eventually as well. And that'll get me 2 of these 3x compressed, which I believe, yep, I can toss in there. So now we will grab our water again, let that cook. And you know what, this sand can just go over here in case we need to craft with it again. Also, I just realized that I can just get these 2x compressed blocks from here. I guess I would have needed to put the sand in there anyway, so yeah. But anywho. Oh, does it convert faster with more mycelium around it? It does. That's kind of cool. Interesting. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this sand sieved up real quick, and I will be back in 1 sec. Alright, we got this quartz all sieved up. Got a decent amount. Toss that in there. We will go ahead and put these prosperity shards over here. I don't like putting stuff in here that can't be double compacted, though. Maybe I'll grab that out of there. Where do I want to put these? These can go over here. Nether wart can go here. Same with solium dust. Okay, and we'll deal with the rest of that at some point. The big thing was getting that nether quartz, which we need to make the fluix. So we'll grab 2 stacks of that. We'll grab 2 stacks of charged quartz and 2 stacks of redstone. Then we will need some water just directly on the ground, which we can do maybe like right here. I did not mean to do that, but I guess we have a big mushroom tree now. Awesome. That got us a bunch of fluics. So we'll go ahead and toss this over here. We'll head back down here. I do want to get some more of this silicon going. Silicon? I'm going to say it differently every single time, just to mess with y'all. And we'll get those going. I know we need redstone, we'll need diamonds, and I think iron to make these advanced cards. We'll come down here and get all of these going. Perfect. I guess I should actually do this over here first. All right. Let's get more of these going as well. I should put a crafting table down here. Probably as well. Let's make some more of these. And we'll just make a whole... We will need a whole bunch of these, no matter what, anyway. Perfect. Alright, now all these should be cranking. Alright, and then we'll toss these in there. And those in there. And we'll grab one more. 2 more stacks of silicon. All right, and that got us our first 3 processors. Okay, looks like it wants us to make the terminal next. We'll need some Fluix dust for that. Alright, looks like the mushroom tree might actually have to go, unfortunately. Mobs are going to be spawning. Just kind of hoping to leave it, but... You know, I did want to make a mob farm, but that's not really the way I had intended to do it. Okay. Anyway, let's get some of this stuff put up. Let's run back over here. Right, I went over there to make Fluix dust. Do I have a crusher? I don't have a crusher. I'm pretty sure you can make it in the inscriber. Is that the best way we can do it right now? Back to the bat cave? I don't know where I was going with that. Alright. We got some Fluix dust. We'll need this. For cables. As well as for those cores. Which we'll need some quartz, glowstone, need more redstone, we'll need quartz. I can just go there. Okay. What are they called? At AE core. We'll make some of these and some of these. Perfect. And then we'll need panel, illuminated panel, which is glass and Stardust quartz dust. And we're gonna need a whole bunch of this, so I think I'm just gonna grab a decent amount. Okay, and then iron. Grab some of that. And what else do we need to make our terminal? A logic processor. Perfect. All right, and that should be all the processors we need for now. Yeah, that'll be fine. So let's get the terminals crafted. We want the crafting terminal, which takes the initial one first. And we will need some wood. And then we can go ahead and make our crafting terminal. Awesome. Okay, so that is what will allow us to pull items in and out of our system. And we should also make some cables here. So first we start with our quartz fiber. And then we turn that into Fluix cables. And we'll worry about channels later. Basically, you just can't have an infinite number of devices attached anywhere. It takes a little bit of kind of planning out. So we will we'll talk about that more whenever we get there. Next, we need a controller, which is just Fluix, Skystone, and a engineering processor. I think I have... Actually, I don't have Skystone over here, because we get Skystone... Is it by clicking on a barrel? Oh, we can just smelt Skystone dust. Never mind. I think it used to be a different method of getting this, but... Anyway. So we'll just go ahead and smelt this up. And then we'll need to smelt this again. Alright, there we go. Need one more set. There we go. Alright, and this Skystone block is what we need to craft our controller. For now, we'll just make one. We will need more eventually, but I just want to get this set up at the moment. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put this controller, I think... how do I want to do this, actually? Let me think about this. I think we'll put it right here for now. I was going to put an energy acceptor down, but it looks like maybe it just doesn't need an energy acceptor anymore. I'm not sure how that, Okay, anyway. Sorry. And then what we'll do is... How do I want power here connected? Just from the back, maybe. We'll just do that. Okay. And then we will have, instead of these cables over here, I want to use these Fluix cables. which is part of the thing here. And none of these count, inscribers or chargers count against the channels, because they're just basically like, I guess, simple, you know, machines or whatever. Like auto crafters and importers and exporters and stuff like that, that will count against our channels, but these don't. Okay, I do want to get the rest of these crafted up. In fact, let me just do this and then toss our... Where are they? Did I grab them out of here? No. Alright, and that'll get those crafted up. Okay, I want to clear my inventory real quick. It is getting a little bit cluttered. Okay, so now we have a controller, we have a terminal, but we don't have the drives to be able to put items into. And there is two main ways that you can... I actually want this power to be coming in from the bottom. There is two main ways to store items that we are going to be focusing on. The first is just simply to put items in drives, like, you know, like you might expect. The second way is to put, is to use an external storage. I don't know, is it called external? I think it's called something else. It's called a storage bus, maybe? Yeah, an ME storage bus. And that will let us essentially use our storage system up here, just like we would use the drives. It'll just treat this whole storage system like one big chest, kind of, and it'll be able to take items in and out of it. So I actually want to grab this off of here, and I want to make dense cables. And the reason for that is that dense cables can carry more channels. Each of these, whenever they're connected to the controller, will only be able to carry 8 channels, whereas the dense cables will be able to carry a full 32 from each side. And the way we craft that is like this. And we also want to turn them into smart cables, because that will show the amount of channels being used. Okay, and for now, what I'm going to do is just run these cables up here. And this is a very basic ME system. This is not as complex, anywhere near as complex as they can be. I just want to kind of preface that yeah, this is not going to be, at least at the moment, anything too crazy. Okay, but now that we've done that, the two things that we need to make is an interface, which is just glass, iron, those formation cores. So let's make one of those. And then I believe we combined it with 2 pistons. So let's grab some cobblestone. We'll make 2 pistons. And we will make this storage bus. We can break that for now, and we just connect that like that. We want to make sure to set this priority to be something pretty high, because we want to always be pushing and pulling items from the drawers first, rather than filling up our drives. We want to save our drives for items that we don't need mass storage of, and that'll become a bigger deal later on. Okay, now that we've got that, we need to make the ME drive right here. Perfect. And then we need to start making storage parts, which is really just going to be a whole bunch of these logic processors. And for now, we're just going to start with 16K storage parts. So we want this to be a multiple of 9. We can do 9 more. Okay. And then these will get combined up into 4K parts. And then these 4K will get combined up into 16K. And then we're going to make these into our item storage cells. All right, and then we'll put these cells in here. And then now, whenever we have items that we don't want to have like a whole bunch of, they can go into these drives. And also, just so I can kind of illustrate this, whenever I put this like quartz glass in here, instead of it going over there, it actually went over here. Because I do have the priority set to do that. And we can just kind of keep an eye on the items that go in here. But yeah, so now we have access to all the items that are in these drawers. And it is going to prioritize putting stuff into those first. And we also have some storage for these other items over here. So yeah, that's going to be our storage setup for now. And we will expand this and upgrade it later. We'll get into auto crafting. And there's so many things you can do with AE. It is a really cool mod. I am a big fan of it. It is a little bit more tedious to work with at the beginning than refined storage, but it is also definitely much more powerful as we progress. So I am looking forward to that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down in the comments. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.